So, thousands of e-commerce brands utilize the power of paid ads to bring in new customers, extend their reach, and grow their revenue consistently. You may be seeing ads from really big stores, really big names and brands that have millions and millions of followers online, and from some other smaller shops that have less than 10,000 followers. When's the best time to start running ads? And to this, I would rather ask, what should you do before thinking about running advertisement for your e-commerce brand? In today's video, I'll be sharing a checklist of 3 things you need to do before starting to run ads for your e-commerce business. So if you're an e-commerce store owner and you wish to up your Facebook ads and online marketing strategy, then stay tuned. My name is Justin and I'm the founder of Wizo Media, an e-commerce marketing agency specializing in growing e-commerce brands through paid ads. So as mentioned at first, there's 3 main things you want to make sure that are well taken care of before you even start about running your own ads. This first thing is getting proof of concept and finding your own market fit. So let's define what these 2 things actually mean, and let's define some numbers to look for when making this decision. So proof of concept is knowing that your product actually works. It's knowing that there's actually, people out there to get your product. It's knowing that your concept, your idea, and whatever you're putting out there, what you're selling actually has a fit out there. So there's people that want to buy that product. This product actually works, serves a specific need, and your whole strategy, your whole business structure works. The best way to know about this is through organic marketing. So it's getting your content out there on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, and getting sales organically without having you spending any money online on advertisement. So the line is really fine between proof of concept and market fit, because what market fit sort of stands for is that there's a market out there that actually wants to receive your products and that there's a fit for your product within its industry and market. As an example, if you're selling something in the skincare industry, then if you're selling a specific, let's say, moisturizer, obviously every brand out there has a moisturizer. So is there really a market fit for your product? You could say yes in some cases. So yes, obviously there's a fit because so many people already use a moisturizer, but are people actually going to buy your product? That's another story. So when combining the 2 together, you form this sort of duo, and then out of that, what stems out from this duo is your product unique enough for people to actually buy it? And then sort of leads to my second point is, are there people actually wanting to buy your product? And last thing is, are people actually getting their problems fixed or getting closer to their desires through your product? If you've seen one of my latest videos on the channel about the top 3 e-commerce websites of September 2021, essentially I was discussing one of the brand called Sylvie. So this brand is actually solving a pretty unique problem within the industry. So they're a mix between a skincare brand as well as a sort of home accessory brand. And that's pretty unique. There's rarely a mix between the 2. And what they're using is they're building, those bedding, those sheets, those duvet cover essentially that are all around solving skincare issues. And that is something pretty unique, right? You're combining 2 things that work pretty well together, but that's not a lot of companies are actually combining. And is there a market fit for this? Well, obviously, who is more likely to buy skincare? Most likely women. And who's most likely to buy these sort of accessories for bedding, for home? Also women. So you're combining a really similar market and creating this sort of offer that definitely will resonate with their potential audience. So that's the first thing. The first focus you should have is on organic content. Earlier, I talked about KPIs and what to look for when knowing, are you actually having a good proof of concept? Are you having a good market fit? And that comes down to your organic stats. First of all, do you get traffic on your website without you having to do any sort of special, huge promotions or again, huge advertisement spree online? So if that's the case, if you're getting enough traffic on your site, that's already a good sign. Second thing is, again, we take a look at followers a lot of the time, even though it doesn't mean anything for some brands. When I say followers, I say real followers, because there's a lot of brands out there that either buy, fake Instagram accounts, or they sort of bought their accounts. They also do follow for follow. So a lot of these strategies create, yes, a lot of followers, but then you can see that with the engagement ratio. So people potentially have 100,000 people following them, and there's only ever 100 people liking their posts. Shows a big discrepancy between how many people actually follow them and how many people actually interact with their content. Other insanely good cases is we've seen some of our clients actually having 22,000 followers and getting 2,600 or 3,500 likes on their posts. This shows insanely good engagement ratio. So something like that, when you're getting a 5 to 10% engagement ratio with your post shows that you have a solid audience. So if you're right around that 10,000 followers and up mark, so 10 to 30,000 followers, you still have a really good engagement ratio, shows that you have a solid brand built, around your products, and shows that there's definitely a proof of concept and fit around what you're making. And when speaking of proof of concept, let's actually not forget that people that see ads, in the future, they're definitely going to land on your Instagram page, they may land on your Facebook page, they may search you up on Google. So that's why it's super important for everything to have some form of social proof. So if if these guys see an ad, land on your page to see, what you're about, maybe they're interested enough, by the ad to say like, hey, let me take a look at this brand, but they're not potentially ready to buy yet, so they're gonna land on your social media pages. If you have, only 300 followers, they just may think that, okay, you're a small brand, it's not really real, maybe a scam, so they won't really trust that. But if people see an ad and then they actually land on your Instagram and they see, all right, you got like 16,000 people following you on there, it's like, okay, it's legit. There's some form of traction around this business. The second thing you want to take a look at and make sure that is solid and set in stone before running ads is having an incredibly good and high converting website. I'm talking organically. You want your website to be converting at about 2 to 3% ideally. That's the sweet spot. This is where you want to be at minimum. Obviously, we've seen some clients still performing well with the 1.5% conversion rate or above, but anything below that really means that you need to improve your website. You may ask why. Well, when you start running ads, everything is amplified. If you're sending thousands of people on your site and all of these guys are not really converting, then you'll lose most of them. So your ads, whatever you're spending on advertisement won't really convert, because in the end, you could have the best ads in the world. You could have like a 2, 3, 4, 5% click-through rate on Facebook, meaning that you have, a high number of people clicking on your ad. But if they go on your website and then your website cannot handle the job, it cannot handle the load of people coming in and just doesn't convert these guys, then it just won't matter in the end because your revenue won't go up. So I've shared countless of times on this channel, tips about how to improve your website, how to get into conversion rate optimization, how to ensure that your website is up to par with other of the top tier businesses in the industry. But really emphasize, I can't emphasize this enough, put a lot of effort into your website. If this was a brick and mortar, business, you'd put a lot of effort into your shop. You'd want to make it, good for people. You want people to feel welcome. You want people to like your brand. You want people to convert whenever they come to your store. It's the same thing online. You want your website to be the absolute best as possible, and you want to put a lot of effort and time into making it as best as it can be. Treat each page as if it was a landing page, and assuming that everyone could land on a specific page at any given time. And let's also focus a lot on SEO. I don't really talk about this on this channel, but SEO is also important. We are seeing with Google Analytics basically allows you to see what is the path of a customer before they purchase from your store. And with that, we noticed that for most of our clients, people see an ad first, then they go to Google, then they search, the brand maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 times. We've seen sometimes some people look at the brand, up to 8, 9 times before actually landing on the website and then converting. So people spend a lot of time searching you up online, so you'll also want to make sure that you pop up in these searches. And this is really what it's about. Thinking about marketing as a whole, it's basically a cycle, but it's also a puzzle. You have your SEO, you have your high converting website, you have your influencers, you have your Facebook ads, you have your organic content on TikTok. Everything powers the wheel and everything goes hand in hand together. Which this leads me to my third and final point, which is setting cost-effective marketing strategies to begin with. By those, there's 2 main examples that I always tell people to set up, before thinking about paying for advertisement on platforms like Facebook, Pinterest, Snapchat, TikTok, Google. It's basically setting up email marketing and some form of influencer marketing or user generated content. So email marketing really doesn't cost you anything actually. So you can only get an upside from email marketing. So it doesn't cost you anything to send out emails, and at best, essentially you'll get people that will convert out of these emails and make a couple bucks from this. At worst, you just won't, you won't lose anything, and you'll be in front of your people and still getting your name and your business out there. So you'll still continue to reach potential customers. One of the best app out there for you to start sending out emails is Klaviyo. Klaviyo integrates amazingly well with Shopify. So Klaviyo really handles a lot of the work, and basically they allow you to create what they call flows, which are automatic sequences being sent out to people based on a few behaviors or variables. So if somebody adds something to their cart or starts a checkout, puts in their email but never finishes, boom, goes into Klaviyo with an automatic flow, which starts sending them emails and then invites them to actually come back on the site to finish their purchases and then ends up converting. Or, you could have a pop-up on your site inviting people to get, a first-time customer offer if they gave you their email, and then you start building your list, and then they start getting the flows into eventual campaigns, and then so on and so on. So if you start running email campaigns, a good number to start is simply sending 1 email a week to your audience, and then afterwards, I'd say don't go more than 2 emails a week. So if you're sending 2 emails a week and having your flow set up, you honestly have emails set down, everything is good on this end. So email is free to do. It's only an upside on this, on this sort of service. So definitely get into that as soon as you can. And then user generated content, I've also mentioned that a couple times on the channel, and that's either going through influencer marketing, so partnering up with influencers in your field, in your industry, and getting big names to sort of sponsor your brand and showing your products, and then that helps you build social proof. Or it's simply having yourself in front of the camera speaking about your products. It's also having some of your customers doing a little review like video, or having people doing tutorials. So getting people in front of the camera doing little videos that just look like it's a regular selfie that anyone would see in a regular Instagram story. That's the best because it doesn't look like an ad, and those are super easy for you to get and acquire from your customers. How can you do that? Either through a flow that you do with Klaviyo again. So you could send an email automatically to people 2 weeks after they purchase, inviting them to either give you a review on your website for your products, or sending you out a quick video. And then if they do, you will basically give them either a quick discount for the next purchase, a little gift card, or something like that. So an incentive for people to send you these videos. Other ways of acquiring UGC are through contests. So if you're telling your current customers that, hey, we're running a contest, you could, again, through Klaviyo, send out an email to your customers, your current customers that have purchased, let's say in the past month, and say, hey, we're running a contest for everyone that has purchased. If you send us a video within the next 72 hours, you'll be entered to win X product. And the third way I'm going to mention that you could actually acquire this UGC is simply setting up an ambassador program on your website and then getting people to apply. You manually review these applications, you send out free products to these people, and in exchange, their form of payment is through these videos that you tell them, full guideline sheet on how to record these videos. It's actually something we provide for all of our clients here at Wizo Media. So we give them a sheet on how to acquire this UGC and how to set up an ambassador program in-house. Now, if you're an e-commerce brand or store owner making at least $20,000 to $30,000 a month with your brand, I invite you to click on the first link in the description down below and book in a really short 15-minute demo call with my team. And let's sit down together, have a quick chat, give you a lot of actionable insights about your brand. And worst comes to worst, you leave the call with the free action plan to implement on your own. And best case scenario, we become partners and then we start helping you in your online growth through paid advertisement. On that note, make sure you check out other videos on the channel for some more useful marketing tips for e-commerce businesses. And I'll see you guys in next week's video. Peace.